So I'm up here in Congress. I was going to go over to Capitol Hill to the building where they actually do the lawmaking and have their debates and vote. But they've stacked the line with a bunch of thespian children and their au pairs or whatever you call the people who watch all these kids for the Shakespeare Folger Theater. I guess they're science experiment orphans, kind of like me. Anyways, I'm trying to use the internet in here. However, there's no public internet access. And by the way, I saw some congressmen trying to turn out, or staff members trying to turn out a woman here in the courtyard about 4 months ago. Turn a woman out, young woman. That means she'd be a Hancock or whatever they make her. You know, Hancock. So, anyways, some posts I keep under 45 seconds so I can put them on Twitter or X or whatever Elon Musk is saying it's called. But I wanted to use my laptop. I wanted to use my cell phone that doesn't have service. I actually even wanted to use my tablet that I have from this fake CSW here in the city named Stanley Mondew, who actually is on nobody's records. And so when a person's not even on anybody's records here in the city as a CSW, it kind of indicates some real shady activity going on. Of course, it's Washington, D.C. See, I had a cell phone associated with this tablet, but I smashed it on the ground maybe like 6 or 7 months ago when I was having a bad day. This tablet, though, it's a brand you really can't buy in the stores, but if you sit around and beg like I do, especially outside the American Bar Association, I saw them walk out with boxes full of these things. I forget what brand it is, and there's no electricity in it right now, but it's probably the tablet definitely associated with the phone that he had given me. His name is supposedly like Stanley Epi or Stanley Mondew or whatever. And when I was trying to figure out my services and my benefits with all this crap that's going on and people are digitally screwing me up, they don't even have a record of this guy being a CSW in the city. And they try to say that my Medicaid is, I don't have Medicaid. I've had Medicaid for years here. And also, I'm on disability with Social Security. And I showed them my card and they're like, you don't have Medicaid. That's my name right there, yo. That's my DC Medicaid card. So how are they saying I don't have it? That's my DC ID. How are they saying I don't have it? I also have a medical cannabis card here in the city. And I had a psych evaluation by the Department for Behavioral Health where they said it was a threat and a danger and people were scared of me at the new halfway house where I live. They moved me from Anacostia over to Columbia Heights about 3 weeks ago. On Wednesday, it'll be 3 weeks. The official transfer says I'm fully moved as of today, the 30th of April, 2025. So like, what's going on with my housing? Who was supposed to help me with my Section 8 housing voucher? Did I ever even really have one? And who's stabbing me in the back, messing with my Medicaid records online? Like, who's doing that? Who's going into the computer? It says my Medicaid started on April 1st and ended on April 1st. April Fool's Day, haha, that actually happened to be the day I went to court. How funny is that? It's not. And then my pretrial officer yesterday was like, if you don't have Medicaid, no one's going to help you with mental health services. And I'm like, well, the judge is going to be pissed. So then I go over to the courthouse. She's like, go to emergency care. I go to Pathways Emergency Care to Shannon Walsh, who I've seen a couple of times. Shannon Walsh told her I was registered at Prestige and also at some other new one. I already just filled out end services at Prestige, end services at Preventive Measures. I never even did intake at Prestige because they said my Medicaid wasn't there and I had to come back another day. So like, whatever's going on with all this crap, whoever's messing with the programs and the software and like data in the computer systems, you should lose your jobs. And if you've committed a crime that's valid enough, go to prison. Send these people to prison. Make them lose their jobs. And if they're doing this with all this shit in Washington, D.C., I'm on board with the president having a military take over the city till they sort out all the criminals and all the human trafficking. Human trafficking is abundant in Washington, D.C. Fake homeless is abundant. People who don't need housing is abundant. The halfway house I used to live at and the halfway house I live at now are basically dormitories for gang members. And the funniest, weirdest shit is this. They're like trap houses funded by nonprofits or whatever. The worst part about it is this. I'm still not getting my housing that I was promised over a year and a half ago by a woman named Abby. And after I talked to this guy yesterday, Jamar Bisco at the Starbucks near the courthouse who does outreach for Pathways for Homelessness, after I'd seen my pretrial services manager and Shannon Walsh at Pathways in the courthouse, Shannon Walsh had no help to give me and was stuttering when I told her what was going on because she's the one doing some of the corruption. Guess what? This dude Jamar Bisco was like, what do you, and if I showed him my card, he's like, oh, you'll be fine then, man. Just take your time and work with your case manager at the new place. I just came from Congresswoman Norton's office here on Capitol Hill, and they told me to go over to 1300 Pennsylvania Avenue to work it out. So, again, I have PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and Tourette's, I'm basically sure. So hopefully this guy Michael Rosenberg and his team will help me. And hopefully, you know, like I'm and she just gave me some other business cards for 1300 Pennsylvania. I don't even know where I put them things, but like, it doesn't help. I'm on disability for mental health issues. It doesn't help for all the mentally healthy people to play games with the mentally ill people. Because I'm pretty sure the entire United States of America is pissed at Congress right now for letting doctors drug everybody and put their children on party medication that can actually get you sent to prison for using it without a prescription. Like, it has a street value. Most people figure it out in high school or college when their friends want to buy it from them. And people just in this city just keep rescheduling appointments at dental offices and doctor's offices and keep prescribing and prescribing. No wonder when election times come, everybody's all jacked up and then fucked up. Like if they put about 10,000 pills of Adderall in the water system, and then a couple of days after the election put 10,000 pills of Xanax in the water system. You know, nobody's talking about the fact that Xanax is the second biggest killer after opioids. Nobody's talking about that more people die from drunk driving than from police violence. Nobody's talking about the fact that a bunch of people who have never had a bad experience with the police are hating on police. Why? Isn't that who you call when you get raped, or when your family member gets murdered, or your house gets robbed, or a drug dealer traps on your family? You call the police for help because the streets ain't helping you. That's who took my teeth, broke my jaw, broke my skull, both wrists, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges on December 30th, 2023. Yet as soon as I left the courthouse area yesterday, I spoke to Jamar Bisco and told him that the woman who first took my information, named Abby from Miriam's Kitchen, over there at 2400 block of Virginia Avenue near George Washington University Hospital in Triangle Park where I live. Abby used to come through the park with a guy named Jackson, both from Miriam's Kitchen. Abby was at the bridge housing as soon as I got back there. Tall, quote-unquote, white girl with blue hair and glasses, flat-chested and really kind of mean, actually. And she was right there going, oh, hey, you live here? And I was like, yeah, where do you live? I go, I never got that housing you promised me. Remember when you took my documents at the Starbucks right there next to Triangle Park a few months before I was murdered? Which was like maybe September or October of 2023. She copied my birth certificate, passport, driver's license, social security card, told me I was qualified for Section 8 housing. Then what happened? Over a year and a half later, still no housing. You know, and I also want to say, whenever I make a post online or on YouTube and I'm like talking about matters of national security and all the weird shit, like where's the 10,000 to 14,000 workers that were supposed to return to work at Navy Yard as the president required about 2.5 months ago? Ain't no 10,000 to 14,000 workers returned there, no cars, no extra people in the stores. And I used to go by there every single day on my way to Capitol Hill. I also usually stop at the Marine Corps and talk to them telepathically, because guess what? Everyone here is telepathic in DC. And they're lying to everyone and putting everyone on party drugs, including little children, troubled veterans, normal middle-aged people who nobody wants to talk to. They say talk to a professional. And elder senior citizens who are trying to decide between buying medication and buying food. In fact, the first time I went to a Ways and Means Committee meeting in 2019 when I was still working, when my professor from Cornell said, hey, they're having a thing about disability and Social Security, I came up here with my skateboard, a pair of shorts, wearing a hardcore t-shirt from Negative Approach, and I met people from AFL-CIO and took their picture with who's the congressman who says good trouble? He went to heaven, but like, what's the problem? How come nobody's helping me? Anyways, the police know I'm not dangerous, but people like to make rumors up. And there, it just happened. My body got hit with cortisol or cortisone, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and what's that other shit? When you get upset, it's when something really crazy is happening. And then what happens is like adrenaline. But so when I make posts like that or other weird ideas I have, like about human trafficking or all the fake homeless people and how they want to burn all these baskets full of stuff, and then the people on little mopeds are going to run around and flip cars and pretend there's a fake revolution nationwide. They did many tryouts for this during the Black Lives Matter summit, which, by the way, the high priest of Washington, D.C., who claims divine power, his name is Thomas Bowen. He works in the White House and used to work in the mayor's office here in D.C. to help the homeless. I attended Shiloh Baptist Church, where he also runs it. He ain't helping me, but he's not the pastor there, but he hasn't helped me once with my homelessness. And I think he's got me arrested a number of times. But, anyways, the posts I make, oh well. Hopefully somebody will save us, because I can't save us. I guess only the people who can save us are the people with the uniforms and the badges and the guns, because the people who make the laws are just stealing our money. Stealing our money and inventing new ways to say we have more of it than we actually do. And if you look at when President Obama was in office, our national deficit when he came in, $2 trillion with an $11 trillion budget nationwide. So that means if we have a $36 trillion deficit, we've got about $150 trillion budget or economy or whatever. It doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up at all. At all. The number, however, some people are getting very, very wealthy while other people work their asses off and can't even rent a place or own a place with one job and have a family so they can spend time with their husband or their wife and their children. Meantime, other people own islands, private jets, and don't have to go through any kind of customs or security anywhere in the world. They have diplomatic immunity and travel on the United States dollar, which is the unifying currency of the world, USD. If you want to get to the bottom of this, basically you start a new treasury, change the dollar. We've changed the Fed, I think, a few times in the past. Say we have to recollect all the money and reissue the cash paper money. And that's how you find out how much money we really have out there. And whoever's hiding $1 billion of cash or $100 million of cash, they got to turn it in, or it's not valid anymore. And that's worldwide. Those $100 bills with the metallic stripe in them, they're worldwide paying for all kinds of screwed up shit. I say, change the Fed, recall all the money, and see what's really going on. If we're trying to reset after the COVID or coronavirus, which means crown in Spanish, like collect the money, change the Fed. You know how to save the planet? Ask me. Reincarcerate all previously convicted murderers, rapists, drug dealers, and human traffickers, for one. Recognize polygamy. Husband or mother focused, father or mother focused polygamy. That's it. Keep it under 15 minutes for Instagram.